AI has that potential as well.
And what does increasing productivity mean? Displacing human beings.
Where's the regulation in the United States? It's almost zero.
AI, if left unfettered and unregulated, it may rule above mankind.
The trends we are currently experiencing are irreversible. And that means we need to have consensus.
This cannot be an independent estate.
In many instances, the development of high-tech digital technology has so far been helpful in increasing the efficiency of public services and also improving public services for overall people. And I think AI has that potential as well to elevate public services for the people. Of course, if done correctly and if governed correctly, it can also help us with informed decision making. It also can help foster accountability and prevent corruption in a certain degree. Especially for the society, it can also increase, citizen engagement in how they're going to use AI technology to help them communicate with each other and promoting their own civic participation.
So, in my view, what Christine said about the benefits, all there, the efficiency, we all know that. But let's face it, the value of the technology and why the valuations are so great is because they essentially, in the highest level, increase productivity. And what does increasing productivity mean? Displacing human beings.
We talk about the internet and social media, the negative consequences of how these are being utilized and what kind of impact they're having on people. But we cannot imagine a life without it. We also know the multiple benefits, including that we are much more aware of various opinions that were simply not accessible to us 20, 30 years ago. That said, I think artificial intelligence will have the same.
But the danger is that AI, if left unfettered and unregulated, may eventually go momentum such that it may rule above mankind. And this is a very profound question, and all of us really need to pause and think about it. And mankind as a whole need to come up with a way of how to deal with that. And time is actually running out. There is no leisure to wait and wait for many years or decades, because if AI goes beyond the point of no return, it will be too late to exercise any meaningful check and balance.
So one of the things I think we have a moment is just like we look back 100 years later after the steam engine and the human ability to use fossil fuels, and we say, "Oh my God, we need to decarbonize," and we have all these existential threats. And as Victor said, but we don't have 100 years to learn the lesson. My view is that AI has a lot of potential to do certain things, but my God, it has to be regulated so strongly. The AI moment now is one where we have to understand that AI is essentially going to colonize people, displace them, and the accumulation and centralization of power and wealth will be more acute than we ever had.
We are in a different world, a world where more representation, more meaningful representation is required. And what that also means is that we must firstly acknowledge that the trends we are currently experiencing are irreversible. And that means we need to have consensus. We need to have consensus between countries, international level consensus that is inclusive on how exactly are we going to impose ethical boundaries on the further, development of artificial intelligence.
Actually, you've only got to just look at the impact of the internet, actually, and what's happened. And the shift in power in the United States, in the West certainly, that has taken place from governance, properly constituted governance, elected bodies, towards the power of technology and technology companies. And they have come, the American technology companies have come to exercise huge influence, actually, in all sorts of different ways, not just politics. I mean, it's not so much the politics, it's the cultural impact. It's the impact on people's identities and how they're constituted. It's the impact on the nature of upbringing and children and their position of children and the rights of children. Those have gone absolutely, out of the window. Where's the regulation in the United States on technology companies? It's almost zero, frankly. I mean, there are two areas of control in relationship technology companies. One is Europe. Yeah, they're very active, the EU, on seeking controls on technology companies. They're well ahead of the United States. The problem is there aren't any European technology companies. So that leaves the question of China. And China has taken very seriously the question of controls of technology companies. And they need to go further, in my view. No, this cannot be an independent estate.